All right. All right. Welcome to my coaching call. What the Fit? It's all about fitness, mindset, health, anything under the sun. Like I said to the people that joined early, I had a sweet find. I found $100 in my gym bag in the sweaty pocket. That was good, with some sweaty clothes in there from boot camp. But tonight's call, I really wanted to touch base with you guys and send a message home about what is your narrative that you're speaking to yourself right now, every day, all throughout this whole pandemic and everything like that. Because I've recently caught myself having conversations with people, and I even feel like I felt my narrative has slipped into the wrong direction, and it's very easy to do. So I'm using this call as a chance to turn it around for myself, and I really want you guys to think deep into how you have hold your conversations, or the thoughts that are in your head, or the voice that you talk to yourself and you hear every day. And I want you to be aware of how it can direct your intentions and your actions and your behaviors and your habits and your choices, all the things that are responsible based upon yourself, like everything that you do and that you're involved with. And I always say this and I echo it every single time. It's just that you can make a choice, and you can choose to communicate more clearly. You can choose to be more direct with your actions. You can choose to pick a weight up. You can choose to not. Like, there's so many different things. But again, at the end of the day, it comes down to that single choice in that single moment, and what you tell yourself while doing it, after it, before it, whatever it may be. Um, right now, it's interestingly enough, like I'm seeing a lot of people talk about how a lot of this stuff that's happening in the pandemic is a bit of BS. And let me tell you, okay, I went golfing today, and one of the guys in the pro shop told his story of how his family went away before Christmas, came back, got extremely ill, no sense of smell, taste, all that kind of stuff before it was ever known. He had all the symptoms, knocked out. His grandfather ended up passing away, I think, under what I heard, from the illness. Like, I'm literally 6 feet away from the guy because of the parameters, talking about this story, and it's right there. It's home. Like, this shit is real. Like, it doesn't matter what people are trying to say, the BS. So, like, where this goes for me is, if you end up following down that rabbit hole of thinking that the actual illness is BS, well, that's silly because it's real. So then, if you participate in those conversations, then you end up winding yourself into a bad spot. So really be aware of the types of conversations and the type of words that you're using and the stories that you're reading and all that kind of stuff. Because let me tell you, I saw a Trump Jr. video. I don't think it's valid because the guy didn't look anything like Trump, but it said Trump Jr. and they're talking about how China covered it all up, and it's just blasting all over Facebook and everything. So if you ever switched over on your Facebook, I think there's a little icon that does videos, and then the whole top feed is just propaganda, 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 propaganda. And once you click one, then Facebook just shoves stuff right at your face, right, based on your settings. So if you ever click on it, Instagram is the same way. Now you're just getting fed all this stuff, and because we're in front of our devices all the time, we're going to be really easily triggered by all this stuff, or at least maybe sometimes you'll click it because it's got really good clickbait. Like, I get a lot of stock stuff and it really clickbaits me and all this other stuff and talks about pandemic. So like, it always happens. And once you click one, you're in trouble. You're out of control. Your life might not be out of control, but your social media and the driving forces, the advertisements, all that kind of stuff is going to come at you fast. So with that being said, I always recommend, and I did this the other day, was like, swipe and try to like disengage, or say I don't want to see this stuff, or I don't like this ad, or I participate in that, because that helps me stay on track with the things that I'm supposed to be doing and learning and reading and participating in, so that I can see more of my community posts and stuff like that. So that's helping me with my narrative. But what I found that I was slipping into was like a little bit of that stuff was coming out of my words with the gym, being like, I don't know where we're going. I don't know what's happening. But that's bullshit, because I do know where we're going. I know we're delivering virtual program until the end of this lockdown is, and then we're going to plan on delivering virtual at a different capacity after that. So I know that. I know we're going to be able to reopen the doors. So why is my narrative saying, well, I don't know? Why is my narrative saying that if we got a second wave of this, where would the gym be? I don't know if we can handle it. And I've even said that to Allison in our meetings and stuff like that. And I'm calling myself out on it because it's not treating myself very well. It's not showing the respect of what the hard work of the people of the gym have done. It's not showing myself any respect for like the 7 years, the 8 years that I've put into making this happen. And it's not laying the groundwork for the future of more people to come into the organization or come into the gym or the community or anything like that and experience the best possible experience that they have. So today was a big gut check. Middle of the day throughout, I had I just said, I'm going to check out of technology work wise. I'm just going to think about a lot of the stuff that has been going on lately, and I'm going to like regroup and deliver this coaching call to you guys, but it really helps me. So I just finished an amazing dinner by myself at the table. I thought I would be in complete silence because I heard the kids just kind of fade, and then dinner was done and I didn't hear them anymore. But because it was a delicious steak, I had my dog barking for a bite over here. So it wasn't complete silence, but it was pretty amazing because it got me fired up about delivering this talk to you guys. And I said, this steak is delicious. I posted on my Instagram saying I needed more. So it's just like these little small actions and these little things that mean nothing to anyone turns it around for everyone, right? So it's one of those things that it's so easy. Momentum switches, and I see this in sports all the time, and it's really key right now. I don't know if you guys have pumped up about The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, the story of the Bulls. Like, it's phenomenal, the momentum swing that happens when certain key elements come together as one and decide to move forward together. But apart, it kind of sounds like a broken car. You're going over a bump and you hear kind of a little bit of a noise, but when you bring them all back together, it's just that nice little hum that's consistent, and you can hear it wherever you go. And that's kind of the feeling that I really want to take and deliver to the world, where it's like this Fit Club community and the coaching and with the new nutrition stuff that's happening and the plans of going virtual plus in the gym, the plans of doing different things and accommodating this new world that we have, is just that nice little hum that we're coming, we're around, everybody's around. Like I heard a story from one of the members, and he was walking through the forest on a hike with his family, and all of a sudden he gets yelled out, T-Rex. Somebody calls his name out, and it was the community member from Fit Club that knows him that yelled through the forest and called him out. And that's the type of stuff that I love hearing and thinking about. It lights me up, right? Because I hear members messaging me saying that nickname was from the gym, and he's out just trying to have a good time, and someone's heckling him through the forest because of what he did and what he, connected with in the community. And it's just a really cool story. And he said he was even up skiing back in February, and he got to the chalet and someone yelled out T-Rex. And again, it was like incredible that he's going all these different places and he's known like that. It's Fit Club community. It's people from London that have stepped in the gym and experienced his energy and presence. And I think that that's a really cool thing to constantly go back to and reflect on, that this is what happens in a community like this. And you can look at the gym and you can look at like COVID and what it's going to do to the gym physically and the changes. Like, I have a big list of what BC has to do that's preparing me for what we have to do. And you can get bent out of shape over the comments like, you got to be 6 feet apart, you have to have spray everywhere, you have to have paper towel, you have to screen everybody, all this stuff. But then I condensed it down and I said, we were already doing that before. When I could have said, this is going to be challenging. Because this morning at the golf course, the head pro said, this is a lot of work. I'm working more now to try to manage everything that's happening. But you could be closed. You could be closed, getting zero revenue, pleasing zero people, and having a shit ton of inventory on hand and not selling it. So immediately after that, I reflected on it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be in the same boat where I'm going to have a ton of work. There's going to be paperwork. There's going to be processing. There's going to be time to get people shuffled in and out. It's going to be, fast paced, on our toes, that kind of stuff. But we were already doing that before. So I did it for 2 weeks prior to closing, and I know what it's like. So I'm already prepared. So if I say I know what it's like and I'm already prepared, the narrative is set, I'm ready to go, and I can deliver a product right after without having to get upset about what is being put out because I can't control that. So I've seen a lot of that stuff. It's like, what can you control? Well, one thing that you can control are your decisions, your voice to yourself, to the people that look up to you, surround you, all that kind of stuff. You can control that. So I challenge each and every one of you guys to really dig in there. And the second you feel kind of like an overwhelmed feeling, figure out what you need to do to get out, and then make note of what you did to get out of that feeling, and continue to do that when it happens again and again. Because if you draw on experience, you'll be able to deliver in the future, because it always keeps repeating itself, right? So if you always don't reflect and don't listen to what you've done before, and don't write down certain things, or don't remember certain things, you can never be prepared for what you've already gone through, unless you have a really good memory and that kind of stuff. But if you get caught up in the rat race, all that kind of stuff, you can forget what you did. So if you draw on an athlete's experience of winning, right, they always talk about, we've won before. The team is a team of veterans. We can utilize that experience to carry us into the next year and the year after and the year after. That's why the Bulls, won 6 championships over that series of time, because they could always draw on an experience that they've already done to be better prepared than someone who hasn't, right? So if you've already been on that stage, you know what it's like, so you can go back to, oh yeah, I remember this. Okay, this is this, this, and this. That's what confidence is. So when you see people that are confident, it's usually because they've already done it before, or they do it every day. And to you, it's something new, but then we can draw from those people that have already done it and help guide us towards what we're going forward with. And that's one of the big components of what I do in my business, is that I put people together that aren't necessarily friends or anything like that. I just kind of group them together, but I always kind of position people with other people that have laid the groundwork ahead of time, so that all you have to do is follow the steps in your own personal way, and then the success comes from that. So when you see someone that's come, like even if I use John Bridges, usually he's on these calls, but when you see that guy, he's dropped from like 200 plus pounds down to like the 190s, 180s, that kind of thing. And then I bring someone else in that potentially wants to do kind of the same thing, but they're not there yet, but they see it. Now it's possible, because it's really close. It's within your 6 degrees of separation that you know everybody. So now we put them right in that 1 degree. I'm like, now you know John, right? Or a runner is going to come into the group, and now you know Corey. Corey never ran before, and now he's running like 100 plus kilometers a week. It's crazy, right? So like, you piece these puzzles together without anybody knowing, and that's kind of what I do. And all of a sudden you have a community that's like this web. And if anybody is into space, because I am right now, because my kids are, the whole Milky Way is like a web of universes, over 500 different universes in our social, and it goes like this, and we're all interconnected, and we bring it all together, and it becomes this powerful movement, right? Things explode, things implode on itself and create energy. When you can create positive energy, everything benefits from positive energy. If you're always creating that negative narrative or that negative energy, you're going to attract that same energy. And I always say that, always comes back to that. So just be prepared. Be prepared. If that's how you're talking, that's what you're going to get. I wonder who will do this. I challenge you guys, just for fun. Like, Facebook is a great place to like test things out. So 3 lines, no more. Talk shit about something, not someone, and see what happens. Just Grace, get some popcorn ready, put it in the microwave, type your 3 lines, it'll be done, and sit there and just watch it come. And I guarantee you that there's not one person that's going to give anything positive to something negative. You're just going to be like, oh yeah. And some of the really big ticket items that you could put up there is like, talk about any of your services, like Rogers Bell, talk about any of your like Hydro, talk about, I don't know, Canada Post, talk about Amazon, talk about Jeff Bezos being the first trillionaire in the world. Like, come on, you can post anything and make it negative. And I just challenge you guys to see what happens. The finger typers, the really type fast, they're waiting, and they hit those keys so damn hard when they're upset. They will attract to that. So I challenge you guys, if you want to do it, it's a fun little exercise. And if you are in a dark spot, maybe it'll open up some realizations for you. But hey, give it a shot. I think that'd be cool. I might do it a little bit later. But yeah, it's such a powerful thing. And once you realize and harness your own narrative, everything changes, right? You start going like this, and it becomes prosperity. And I've spoken about this before. Prosperity is that nice, steady, gradual raise in your lifestyle, in your bank account, in your mindset, in your nutrition, in your health, and all that kind of stuff. It's very boring. It's very like it's 1% on top of the 1% on top of the 1% on top of the 1%. It's super boring. But everybody loves this, right? The roller coaster, it's the up and down, the comeback kid, all that kind of stuff. That's all based on what you put out there in the world. So if you put out there one day, I'm riding this high, and then the next day you put out, like, I'm feeling low, and whether it's on socials or in person or whatever, people are going to attract to that, and you're going to continuously go on this wave until you start realizing what you're actually doing. We all are human. There is an element that sneaks in there and says, hey, we're going to knock you down. But I personally think that that's a message for you to grow. That's a chance for you to take a step back and actually grow. Because you don't really grow when everything's going well, right? You're riding a wave. The wave only gets so high. And then you have to have something that kind of slows the momentum down, that makes you think. It challenges you to get more education, to read a book, experience something, like create maybe enroll in a mentorship program or something that allows you to grow again, because that wave only gets so high and then momentum disappears. And then all of a sudden, if you don't do anything when you start feeling that decline, kind of have to like cut your losses, get out there and then start again. Or you're just going to ride it all the way back down, and you're going to feel that low of lows, right? So make those changes, create that in your life, be aware of it, and truly go out and share as much as you possibly can. Like, I'm going to bring Corey on right now. Corey, I'm going to call you out for a second.
Okay.
All right. So we have this nutrition chat, and it's good. So you said tonight that you looked at your numbers, and then you said you had a meal with your family, and it knocked your numbers way out of the park, right? When you typed that and right directly immediately after, whether you knew it or not, did you feel some sort of like, ah, shit, like that sucks?
No, because I scanned it ahead of time, so I knew that my carbs were going to go way up. But again, in the back of my head, I don't mind my carbs going up so much because I'm running tomorrow, and I'll be fine.
So there's the mindset behind the comment, which is great, because if I were to read it, that isn't exactly how it would come across. So easily people can attack that and attach to that. So you've already processed it. You typed it earlier today into your MyFitnessPal. So his macronutrients were off, and saying that my family dinner kind of put me over, and that kind of stuff. It's very easy to get wrapped up in that narrative, like I'm going for the numbers, I'm going for this, I'm going for that, and it can knock you off your progress. But because you prepared, looked at it, you know it's ahead of you, you've already taken action steps to kind of like dissolve any of that bad feeling. Because I know, based on conversations that you and I have had, there are some times that you harbor some things or you carry some things a little bit harder than what you should, because you're really hard on yourself, which is not a bad thing. But how does that affect the rest of your week, right?
True.
It can create that ripple effect where you then just say, hey, I missed that day, I'm going to miss this day, I don't even care anymore, right? All of a sudden. So
now, if my fat went high, I probably would have felt bad, though.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So here we are. My fat was bad, so I feel bad. But why would you feel bad because fat is bad? Like, is that what you're thinking? Like, could you think fat is bad, or?
I've still got the mentality that fat is bad, and I know it kind of balances out with the 35, 35, and 30. I'm getting better, but again, I always, and my wife tonight, when she saw me putting it in there, she's like, she's on Weight Watchers, so she's still counting points. And as soon as I said, okay, I guess, like, we had coffee, we did our whole week of planning for dinners. And when we came to the decision that today is pasta, she saw me scan it, she's like, it's going to be high. So I got her supporting me. She sometimes thinks I'm crazy for watching, because then I've lost weight, so she's still a bit, not skeptical. I shouldn't even have said skeptical. Just, thinks I'm wasting my time, but I've got a little pouch that I'm trying to get rid of, which is bugging her that I'm obsessed with this little pouch.
Sure. So that's interesting because like a lot of this comes down to just overall muscle mass versus where body fat tissue is, if it's actually body fat. So there's a lot of stuff in behind there. But what I really want to focus on is the fact that you've now taken on this coffee and planning, and it's probably proven to be phenomenal. You have the support, you know, in just in line with your wife, because that's where it is. You guys are the nucleus of your house. You create the habits, you create the direction, you have children, that kind of stuff. Lead by example. Because you guys are now connecting on this level, like we're going to plan it out, you've prepared for all of these things so that you don't get caught up in bad narrative to yourself when pasta sneaks up on you and then all of a sudden Domino's is ordered the night before and 4 days in a row. Last week I had pizza. I'm just saying it's very easy for these things to happen when you tell yourself it's okay. So even good positive narrative is sometimes comforting in the overlapping what you've done to try to make yourself feel better. So you're aware of it, you're planning it. I think it's great. But I really want to stress that the macro percentages, you can get totally wrapped up in it. But at the end of the day, if you're burning more than you're eating, you're either going to lose weight or you're going to stop losing weight, get to a point where you just can't anymore because the body has a spot. Like if you just lost and lost and lost, you'd end up dying, right? So that just doesn't happen. Your brain, your body won't let you do that. But as long as you plan and create that process, you can beat it, right? You don't really have anything to worry about. So one day here, one day there, and fat is not bad. It is like if women didn't have fat, you guys couldn't function. So, right? There's lots of really good things that come from it. So cool, good job. I'm pumped to see you run like the wind all the time. I really wish you were running tonight's call, but it does add a nice little element. If you guys don't know, Corey jumped in on a social while running, and we were wondering what this was. We're just like, what is he doing? Of course, he's running. But well done, well done. Lisa, can you unmute yourself?
I'm trying. Okay.
There you are. I want to just highlight what you've done. So Lisa's taken on the nutrition coaching, and we're using the Pro Coach software through Precision Nutrition. And I think it's phenomenal now that you're like plugging in and doing your homework and reading the whys and answering those things, because now we get to create really great narrative on a daily basis. And I think that's going to be successful going forward, just that we have this central spot that we can go to on a common ground that delivers good quality questions, answers, and then delivers awesome behaviors going forward. So I'm pretty pumped for you. I want to just hear, I know it's only been a few days, but I kind of want to hear what your thoughts and how you're ultimately feeling since you've been able to tap into that system and answer the things that are in there.
Yeah, so I think that a lot of the information that I've received so far, it's a lot of stuff that I've known, and a lot of what we do, we know that we shouldn't do. So just, I guess, getting into your mind and understanding the whys and, you know, why you do those things, why you do the bad habits and stuff like that, just reiterates and keeps it in the top of your mind all the time. But I'm looking forward to learning more about it, because that's one of my challenges that I've had for probably my life.
Yeah.
With
that's pretty crazy,
not eating right.
Yeah, like when you can sit here and say, I haven't been super successful at eating since the last time I remember. I can't remember the last time, which is like, that's eye-opening. It's motivating, it's shocking, it's depressing. Like it holds so many different emotions in just that one sentence alone. And I recall one of the members back at the gym that's told me that they hit a certain milestone of weight loss, and then they said that this number was on scale. They hadn't seen it since they were 12 years old. And the person's in their 30s. And it just blew my mind right then and there that someone could carry this, and imagine what they're carrying the whole time from an emotional standpoint, a mental standpoint. There's so many things that people hold on to from very far back in their lives that carry to this day. And until you actually decide to change the narrative, change the habits, change the systems, it just stays with you. So yes, you've been involved in precision nutrition before, but the coaching side of things is a little bit different this time around. But I think ultimately you came to a spot now, and you've tried other gyms and you've gone through this, all that kind of stuff. You found a voice and you found a mission and a message that connects with you a little bit deeper, and it just promotes your success. And now you just have to put the foot into the footprint ahead of you, right? Let's follow it. Let's create the habits so that the loop that you have in your head right now kind of just gets changed a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So that's
And
the thing about habits.
And I think too, all the programs that I have done in the past, in my head, I still think that I need to be doing those things, even though those things weren't successful. Or maybe they were successful at one point, but then the weight just came back again and some. So obviously that wasn't the right program for me.
Well, there's a lot of things that are in there. So even I'm going to challenge you on that right here, because it's a very great example. A program becomes a program when it sees success. So whether I get it, whether I deliver the fire starter program prior to the fire starter coming to your table or your lap, it was successful with someone, and then someone else, and then someone else, and someone else, to gain notoriety. A shit program would not be successful because the first person would just squash it, and then the person delivering it would lose all confidence because it was a shit program, and it would just never become something. So always, I think, when you see something out there, whether you can sniff through the garbage of it all, and if it is good or it is bad, you can figure that out. If you get it to your plate and all of a sudden you're questioning whether it's successful or not, I think you got to go within. It's not the plan. Like, I can write everything on a piece of paper, and if you followed it to a T every single day, then sure, you might be successful. But the second you deviate from it, it's not the plan that's doing the problem, or the plan that's not working. It's the person. It always, always, always comes down to you. It's your choice, and it's your time in life. And if this is the moment now that you ultimately are ready to be successful, you have to tell yourself that. You have to be expressing that in everything that you do, so that you actually become a believer and create the confidence in your own life to be able to carry forward, or else you're just going to look at it and say, well, this plan is a little bit hard for me. I'm just going to chill and I'm not going to do it. This is the moment in time in your life that you're ready for a plan that works. The precision nutrition plan has had thousands and thousands and thousands of people go through it and been successful. It's the largest company in North America that's been built. So obviously it has some notoriety. I paid money to get involved in it so that I could learn too. So I believe in it. Now I'm sharing that belief. But it always comes down to whether you're ready or you're not. Are you ready to put the food on the plate that's appropriate? Are you ready to move more? Are you ready to think more? Are you ready to grow? Like, this is deep health that we're talking about. This is why I do these coaching calls. This is why I try to get, as many people involved to do different things and share different things and hear different stories, because that is what creates change. But you have to be ready. So I don't care what program is out there. They're all good until you choose not to do it. Then that program becomes not good for you because you chose not to make it the best that it could be, right? So just take that, let it, settle in. But if you make the decision to go forward, you're going to be successful. And if you choose to slow down, well, your success will be dictated by the effort that you put in. And no one is telling you how fast to go. No one needs you to, get to your goal by July. We've already talked about when you should hit your goal, when it is realistic, all that kind of stuff. And we can change it throughout. There's no rock scripture that can't be erased here, right? Like, it isn't just one thing set in stone. So it's a forever growing, changing, molding into different things. It morphs all the time. My whole journey to this point has morphed many, many, many times. If you're willing to accept it, you will be successful. So, guys, thank you for allowing me to call you out. I like doing that because it kind of gets real raw emotion instead of anything scripted, that kind of stuff. So makes these coaching calls what they are, and I appreciate it. So thank you so much. I know, Nancy, you jumped on late. Jennifer, welcome. You're just catching the tail end. The recording is going to be posted. I don't have much more to say about this topic. I thank you guys all for coming out and chiming in, but this happens every Sunday night unless I truly want to take a break, but usually it's every Sunday night. And here we are. It's a long weekend. Tomorrow's going to rain all day. So let's do some planning, some meal prepping if you have some food to cook. Eat all those cookies that are in the house still. Mine are all gone, which is good. But I always appreciate you guys. Corey, are you going to run in the rain? You running in the rain? Yeah, thumbs up. He's running in the rain. Sandra?
What's up?
How was your workout? How was your workout on Saturday?
Oh, you killed me. You killed me.
Sandra, you were hiding in your basement around the corner. I saw you disappear for a couple
I
times.
wasn't. Because I have certain spots that I go to, and then I'm like, I'm dying, so I had to walk away a few times. I'm not used to that. I'm used to telling people what to do. I'm not used to being on the other end of it.
This is good. So I'm going to keep this call going a little bit long because I want to highlight what you said to me tonight. So I've been bugging Sandra. So Sandra's a trainer at Fitness Forum, guys. And she runs boot camps, personal training, kind of as a manager of all the trainers. She does a bunch of stuff for that gym to keep that nucleus going. And here we are in COVID, and she hasn't once done a virtual workout and led it herself. I keep saying there's nothing different about doing it on the computer than in person. Wow, the people, they might not have this amount of, like, listen, I put a dumbbell into a duffel bag and swung it like a kettlebell, right? Like, there's so many ways. I have one of my clients with grocery bags with bricks in them, okay? And the grocery bag is looped so she can put her palm and the bag goes across the back and she can hold onto the brick and do external rotations. And then she has boat batteries that are 29 pounds each that she's rowing. And then electrical wire. Like, you can make anything. If you can lift it, you can move, right? Like, it's so, like, the narrative that you said to yourself just created this, I'm going to stand still and just deliver a really great message to the people around me. But now you're going to challenge yourself. She's going to open up and try to do a virtual boot camp. I think it's crazy and awesome and wonderful. And there it is, right? You're going to make a change in your life that's going to deliver so much more. You're going to bring value to people that you didn't think you could reach, but now you can reach. Like, literally, Fit Club has reached from coast to coast. We were in Nanaimo, BC, and then I spoke last week to a guy out in PEI around the water. He's yet to take a class, but he has 3 for free, and he's going to do it. I'm going to get him. But I'm just saying, we have unlimited potential now because we can reach anybody that we're connected to anywhere. That's it. That's all. I challenge you. I'm pointing at you in the Hollywood squares in the corner. Step it up. Say good things to yourself. Keep saying good things to the people around you. You can say as many good things to the people around you, but if it's not in here, it's not going to be delivered, right? That's it. That's all from me, guys. I talked a lot. I need to drink some water. I'm going to go relax the rest of the night. I bought 16 liters of disinfectant ready for the opening of the gym. I don't know what's happening, but I got 16 liters of spray.
Where'd you buy it from?
Canadian Tire.
Okay.
All right. Curbside pickup. Pump it up. Protein sales are in. They're coming in Wednesday or Thursday. Protein.